bit and just lightening this up a little bit. Okay. Let me turn my work back around so I can look and see. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Just lighten this up a little bit more. That looks good. Okay, so now we're going to come over to this side and then blend this out here. Okay, that looks good. Throw a little bit more shading in through here. That looks good. Okay, so now we're going to come here and go over this whole thing like that, and then blend out. I'm sorry if I'm getting quiet, you guys. I'm focusing. Yeah, I think that all looks good. Yes, that looks very good. Okay, so there we are with our shading. We need to go down to the neck and shade down there. So let me bring you guys out. And let's get as far as we can go. Let's see. Oh, okay, there we go. So we need to do some shading now on the neck. So we're going to use that same dark brown to and you guys can't see the very, very bottom. I'm sorry. It's just it's hard to stay in frame, like I said, for every little part, especially these long bodies. And these girls with these long bodies is very Jane Davenport inspired. She does girls with really long bodies and really long necks. And I absolutely love drawing like that. I love the whimsical look of it. I love the freedom of it. When you draw girls like this with really long necks, there's a freedom in it because it's not perfect, right? It's kind of however you want the girl's shape to look. So I really enjoy that style. So I have picked that up from her and I love it. So these long neck girls are going to be part of my repertoire, my version of them. But that's where I was inspired by, was Jane Davenport and her girls. Okay. All right, that looks good there. Let's see if I can get a little more darkness up in through here. Let me just look at my girl real quick. There's more light hitting here, so I'm going to have the heaviness on this side and lighter on that side, okay? So, because there's more hair, the hair is blowing this way, so the more the hair is over here, so the more the shading would be on this side. So now I'm going to take that other brown color we've been talking about, and I'm going to lay that in. And laying it in pretty thick as far as like width. I might go in a little thicker. There we go. Okay, let me turn my work a little bit. Trying to keep my head out of the way. Sorry if I got my head in the way. Just bring that out a little bit right there. And the reason I put that dark brown in first, because it just gives a little more depth to her skin when you see when that darker color is right, you know, the first bit and then coming out. Okay, so now let's go through, like I said, and let's blend it out. Then we'll go back over to the other side. So I'm going to come here, and then we're going to blend it out. Okay. Okay, and blend it out. Okay, and go all the way back up, come out and blend it out. I'm going back over things just one more time because I just feel like I could blend it out a little bit better, take off a little bit more color. And I'm telling you, using these pastels are just, to me, I never used pan pastels, but I imagine that pan pastels feel a lot like this. Just a second, I need to put a little bit more on here like this. There we go. So you just keep playing with it until you like it for your shading. And I like that. Okay, so now we're going to go over to the other side. We put that darker color in, right? So now we're going to put a little bit lighter color of both of them. Okay. We're basically going to almost go on top of it, but we're not going to come out as far like we did the other side, because this is where the light's hitting. It's going to hit on her back side, right? And the way you can tell like where the light's going to hit, if that sounds confusing at all, because it did to me first too, but whenever something's underneath something, it's going to create a shadow. It's going to be darker, right? So the reason this side is more shaded is because the hair is blowing over this way, so it's going to have more of a shadow here, right? Less hair is here because the hair is blowing out, right? So this is where the sun's going to hit more. So that's why over here I don't have it shaded as much. Oh. And see under the chin how I always put a little bit darker under the chin here? Again, it's underneath, right? Underneath your chin, it's going to be darker. So, all right, so let's go over things here and blend out. Blend. And blending over it like that, it puts a little bit of color on the brush, and that little bit of color is where you can, is how you can blend out. Go to the line and then blend out from there. And I think it just turns out gorgeous. Oh, important, you do have to set this with some type of a matte acrylic spray, because eventually it will, it could rub off. So, okay, I do want to go in the center here and take some right here off, because well, maybe I don't. That looks like I just rubbed it out. Oh wait, just a minute. Let me just blend. There we go. Let me just blend myself out of that little hole I put myself in. Okay, so I think that skin looks gorgeous. That's what it looks like at the bottom. Isn't that pretty? I think that's really, really pretty. And you can see that it's more heavily shaded on this side. See how much thicker that is? And then a little bit on that side. So, all right, so let's go back up to the face. And we are going to, let's go back up to the face and get real close here. Scoot that over so you guys can really see the face. Okay, because that's what we're going to do the rest of the work at. You know what, I want to put in her cheeks and her eyes, but also I want to line before I forget. I like to go around the whole face with like a dark brown, or sometimes I like to go with this one red color, and it gives a little bit of like a glow to the face. I think I'm going to do that. It's a brick red. Where is it? And I know that sounds weird, but I learned that from, I don't know, somebody on YouTube. I seen her do it once, and I was like, ooh, I like that. It's like it added the blood into the face. That's how she described it. It's a Tuscan Red Prismacolor Premier. And you just go on there. Okay, when I inked her out, I'm going originally on that original line. That's the line I'm going on. And it's like it brings some blood back into the face. And you don't totally notice it. It's one of those subtle things that makes a difference. Plus, it gets rid of that black line. There we go. That looks good. I'm going to do that. Just 1 second, you guys. I'm just going to do that all the way down, so I know I'm out of frame. I'm doing it on the body real quick. I'll be back up to you guys in just a second. I'll be back up in just a second. At least I know I'm out of frame. There's been times when I've done stuff and I'm like, don't even know I'm out of frame. Oh, oh, that makes me mad. I just did red in her face. At least I can erase it. Pencil's not as easy to erase as other things. Okay, now I have to put some color back in her face here. Oh, it makes me mad. I just did that. Okay. All right, we're still good. That still looks good. All right. All right. So we did that with that pencil there. And like I said, it just adds a little bit of like adds a little blood back into the face and the skin and brightens things up. Okay. Next, let's put some cheeks on her, and we're going to go to the eyes in just a second. Oh, no, we're not going to do the cheeks yet, because I'm going to do the cheek color the same as the eye color. Okay, let's go in and let's shade the eyes. So, I'm going to use this green for the shading for the eyes, for the green eye, and I have a purple I like to use for the purple of the eye. Where is it? That's not it. Okay, and then, is this the right color? Yeah, violet. And then I need to get my blender out. All right, so we're gonna go with violet, Prismacolor Premier. Okay. And just in the corners of the eye, you're going to put the purple in, and you're going to bring it down halfway on the side of the eye. Okay, and then you're going to take your blender pencil. I get my blender pencils now at Michael's, and actually, believe it or not, this blender pencil is by Artist Loft, and you can get where you buy your Prismacolor pencils, open stock. They have Artist Loft, which I thought was a crappy brand, but I think they've improved it. Anyway, they sell individually these blender pencils. So it's pretty cool. And they're only like $1.25. So if you want to get a blender pencil, that's where I get them at. Okay, and then what I like to do is, because I've blended it, and you blend it out. What's cool about when you blend it out to like 2 to 3 lighter colors. And you don't have to use as many pencils, as many colors. But I just want to open it up the center a tad bit more with my eraser. And when you do that, it actually creates more colors because you're erasing something away, but at the same time, you're keeping a little bit of it. So anyway, I'm being a little persnickety, but it makes a difference. Okay, now this color is Prismacolor Premier Parrot Green. And I'm going to do the same thing in the corner of the eye, and then about halfway down, stop, and then blend out with your blender. Make sure you guys are seeing all of that. Yes, you are. So this is how I do the eyes, because people are always asking me. They're like, I like how you do those eyes. Oh, and there's one other third color I like to use. I like to use this Prismacolor Chartreuse right in the center of the eye. It's the same as that watercolor basically, but I like to use that and blend it into the Parrot Green and over the watercolor that I just did. It really just adds a little extra something to it. Very pretty. Okay. Now we're going to re-outline the eyes with one of our ink pens here. It's almost like, I think of these as almost eyeliner, my ink pens. Let me see, do I have the number I need? Yeah. So it's like my most pointed one, it's an 04. You can use a micron, you can use a big pen, whatever. Looking at my time. And so what I like to do is I like to recolor the eyeball back, because we've used all kinds of watercolor and pencil and all of that. So the eyeball tends to lighten up a little bit. And I'm going to reline around her eyes. I think of all of this as kind of like eyeliner. And you're just kind of relining. Okay, and then throw the line back in here a little bit. Okay. And then I like to just go back over the, we have the eyelashes, just go back over them just one more time, like this. Just freshen up all of those lashes. Okay, so we're going to go to the other eye and do the same thing. I'm going to go back over to this one and give it a little bit heavier liner. Cool. And then touch up on all these eyelashes again. And when you do that, make sure that you don't do any of your lashes straight up. They're always angling, going, you know, out, like they're curled. And then the eyeball again. I need to do the eyeball. Just redefine the eyeball, make it nice and black. We're going to put catch lights in it, so don't worry. Sorry, anytime I get quiet, you guys, it's just because I'm focusing. Okay, and then I'm going to redefine the eyebrows also. I'm not going to redefine the nose. I like the nose to be a little bit more subtle, so I don't ever feel the need pretty much to redefine the nose. Okay, and we're going to redefine the lips a little bit. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, just depends. That looks good. Oh, okay, so there we go. All right, so now let's go ahead and let's do the eyeshadow. I want to be able to have time to do that wine glass at the bottom, so we'll see. I may just do that in another video. Okay, the eyeshadow. How do I want to do this? Okay, we're going to do, oh, on the eyeshadow, I'm using the palette again. This palette here. And this palette is called Lit Up, and I'm using, let me see if I can get this under here. There we go. These two colors here, here and here. Okay. So right here in this, I'm going to put in this color here, this pinky color, which I just love. And since it's a party, we're going to get real dramatic. So I'm going to put a lot of color on. We're going to have drama. Okay, and then I'm going to use that purple. Okay. All right, now let's go ahead with this purple over here. And put back in some more of that pink right there because I just want it really dramatic. That looks really pretty. Gorgeous. And then we're going to take that same pink and we're going to blush your cheeks. I just started using this color to blush cheeks and I love it. I had another cream pastel of Jane's that I liked. I used a lot for the cheeks. But one day I said, oh, I wonder if that color will look good on the cheeks. And it does. And I love a blushy cheek. Now that same color, we're just going to go right to the lips. Usually the color that I use on the cheeks is the color that I use on the lips. But look how pretty that looks. I've used it 3 different places and it looks just gorgeous. All right, we're going to throw some lip liner on those lips in just a minute. Okay, that looks good. Make sure I'm still in frame and make sure you guys are seeing everything. Yes, that looks good. Okay, so now we're going to go through with, well, before I do that, let's line the lips. I'm going to use a color called Mulberry. I love this color. It's a Prismacolor pencil color. I love it. I have to sharpen my pencil. Okay, so let's do the lips real quick. Okay. You guys, I'm going to make it a separate video on this wine glass. And I'll just label the video how I do a wine glass. Because I want to take my time on that. And for you guys to see it. The Frugal Crafter, she did some mason jars. And the way she did her mason jars is the way I learned how to do a wine glass. How to make it look like there's a drink in it. And she had all these sparklies going. I loved it. So I got a lot of the techniques for how I do my wine glasses full of wine or juice or whatever from her. It was a mason jar that she did, but you can take that same technique to whatever glass you want. It doesn't matter if it's a mason jar. I'm looking for my blender pencil. What the heck did I do with it? All right, never mind. I'm just going to get a new blender pencil out. I don't know what I just did with that. Let me sharpen it. That's weird. I'll find it. Ooh, hopefully that's not too sharp. Okay, so I just used this Mulberry for the lips and lined the lips, right? Kind of just how you line your lips. A lot of this is kind of, if you do makeup, it'll come easy to you, these different techniques I'm doing, because it's like how you do makeup. All the shading, all the blushing, the eyes, the lining of the lips. Gorgeous. I think that turned out pretty. And I love that mulberry color. Beautiful. Okay, so there's her beautiful lips. Okay, so now let's, okay, we're gonna do some catch lights on the eyes. So I'm glad I'm in this close. I'm going to use my liner brush right here, this brush here, which I love. The white paint. Just some white cheapy acrylic paint, or if you want more expensive white paint, whichever. The cheapy white paint is the best thing that you want to use is matte. A lot of times the more expensive paints aren't matte, and the reason you want it to be matte, in case you need to go back over it or something, you can go back over a matte. If it has some type of shiners or something in it, I'm not sure what it has in it, you can't go back over it. So okay, so now let's throw the catch lights in these eyes. We're going to throw catch lights everywhere. Okay. Okay. So let's throw the catch light over here. Let's throw the catch light over here. All right. And there's this thing I've been doing lately that I'm trying to think if I want to do that or not. I don't. I'm going to do this other thing. Okay, so let's put a catch light here and there. Let's throw one here and up here. Okay. Oh, I need to. I'm just going in with this darker brown into the nostrils. That's right. Looking for a sharper pencil. It's just a dark brown. I like to use a dark brown to do the nostrils. Okay, there we go. couldn't use black, but I just think it looks prettier to do that. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to take and put little white dots all around her eye. Just a second, I just got to get a little bit. My paint started getting a little bit. Okay. I love putting these little dots on her eyes. Look how pretty that looks. Okay, and then we're going to take that and just put these all like this on her eyelashes. So it looks like she has little sparkly eyelashes. I love doing that. While we're here, let's put a little catch light on her cheeks. Just like that. Okay. Alright, and now let's go over to this eye, do the same thing. And you're just barely touching. It doesn't take much. And then let's just do the same thing all over this eyelash. Isn't that pretty? It just looks like it sparkles. I think that is so pretty. And then let's put make sure you guys are seeing the lips. Yeah. Let's put a little catch light on the lips. I'll go back up to the cheek in just a second. There we go. And let's go back up to the cheek. And there's a little catch light for the cheek. I think it's important when doing the catch lights on the cheeks not to do like circles, you know, like something that looks like it's light hitting it. Light's not going to be like a perfect little circle or anything. Even though I'm about to do a perfect little circle on her chin down here. Not a perfect circle, but just a little dot down here. There we go. Trying to see if there's any other catch lights that I want to put on here. I think that's it. Oh, I think she looks gorgeous. Okay, so let me show you what she looks like completely. I want to do the wine glass, but I want to do that and not be rushed through the wine glass, you guys. So, let me come back out so you guys can get the full effect of her. There we go. And then there's just the face up close. I think that looks so pretty. And then there she is in her full glory. Okay. And then there we go. Oh, I think she turned out so pretty. So pretty. I hope you guys like her. I hope you like the techniques I used. I am going to take this pencil and